Welcome back to Test Drive, and thanks to 50 for helping us out over there in Phoenix. But I gotta say, I know that's his prize G8, and I did take it out without asking, but it might not be high mileage, but I think she's been around the block a time or two. I'm just saying, you know. Well, we've clearly traded Phoenix for Willow Springs, California, and we're welcoming back one of our favorite all-time guests to Test Drive, funny man of TV and radio, Adam Carolla. Adam?
Tommy, great to see you.
Welcome back.
I gotta say, when I think hardcore rap, I think Tommy Kendall.
Don't you?
It took a lot of guts for you to show your face out on this track again after what I did to you 5 years ago in that Magnum wagon. A lot of guts, my friend.
Spent a lot of time on the couch after that.
Bet.
I was shattered.
That's right. I'm a dream breaker, baby. You ready to have your dreams popped again?
Update us. What do you have in your garage new that excites you?
New cars, Lamborghinis. Old Lamborghinis,
Multiple.
60s Lamborghinis. You know, I don't know if we have time, but this is really cool. The whole reason Lamborghini exists is because Ferrari insulted him. Not only was Ferrari a great car maker, he was a great car inspirer by insulting everybody.
I'm surprised we don't have a new car coming. You insult people like daily.
That's right.
They're just not the right guys.
Well, that's the problem. I insult you and you just limp back to your one bedroom in Van Nuys instead of hit the drawing board. I'm trying to draw out the tiger in you, Kendall.
All right, well, I think it's probably time to saddle up. Which one do you want?
I'm gonna go with the burnt orange.
Burnt orange.
Or ignition orange, as they call it, ignition fire.
All right, well, we've got your dental records. Why don't you hop in the burnt orange one, and we'll
All right.
get after it.
Don't get your skirt caught up in the door, Kendall.
Now, you're in your element here, right? I mean, you were born to race.
Yep, that's why my middle name is Ace.
Bring us up to speed. Have you been sneaking out to Willow for some late-night lapping sessions?
No, I've not hit the big track at Willow since '03.
How do you feel about that? G8.
Well, other than it sounding like a tax form, it's a pretty cool car. It's got a nice V8 engine in it. I think it's making about 362 horsepower with 380-something foot-pounds of torque. Braking feels good, and if this car's under 30 grand, that's a deal, my friend.
Well, as a matter of fact, it is the most powerful car under 30,000 bucks.
Wow, that is like being the world's tallest midget. They definitely got the performance back in Pontiac with this G8. You can feel the horsepower, you can feel the torque. The brakes feel even, the suspension. The suspension is not stiff, but it's not soft either. It's probably not great for the track, but it would be nice for the road.
Now, one thing that's cool about this, they didn't skimp. It doesn't have a solid rear axle, full four-wheel independent suspension. Pretty sophisticated setup, which is why it rides so nice. But it's got those twin scoops on the hood that you mentioned.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the last cool Pontiac that I really dug was that Formula 400 that Rockford used to drive.
Yeah, I like that show too, except for I can't watch it anymore because my dad, I realize, looks like Angel. All nose and fro.
He's got the wraparound fro.
Yeah, and he's always borrowing money from Jim Rockford. Yeah, it does have a good look. It does have that nice tip of the cap to some of the Pontiacs of yore, and especially that 400. You gave me one of the greatest compliments I've ever had when I did this show the first time, which is, I never stop talking even when I'm crashing.
I mean, that's a talent, because like on this show, when I get in a little bit of trouble, which doesn't happen that often, but I go quiet. But you, I don't know if it's you don't know you're in trouble or if you just want to talk all the way in.
No, I know I'm in trouble. It's just my ass is not connected to my mouth.
That's probably it.
So my ass is screaming, oh my God, we're going into the berm, but my mouth is still complaining about something. Oh, you bastard. Put it in automatic like a man, Kendall.
Now, one thing you might want to try with that automatic mode.
Wow. Was that a drift?
That was a drift, my friend.
Look, I like cars, and I'm tired of defending myself. I know you're a car guy, Tommy, but other people say, you know, oh, what do you need a car that goes 200 miles an hour for? Or why do you need more than one car? Or when are you going to drive all those cars? And my feeling is that's why I'm an American. The whole point is to get cars you don't need, get more horsepower than is safe or responsible. Look, when you order a steak, you get one that's bigger than your head. Why? This is America. Do you need to eat all that beef? Of course not. But you do anyway, because you're in America.
You must have a pretty understanding wife.
Yes. She gets a little hush money and a case of Tab each month, and she's cool with it.
Click your shifter over to the right.
All right.
It's got a sport mode with driver shift control. So it kind of turns it into a sequential shifter. You know, upshift forward and then downshift backwards. And when you downshift manually, it actually blips the throttle.
Oh, really?
Yep.
So there's a little monkey that's underneath the where your feet go that actually blips the throttle for you when you downshift.
A little Union monkey under the hood. The throttle blipper.
It's kind of nice driving it in this mode.
And this engine, I mean, it's remarkable. This thing, the G8 GT, it's a 6-liter. It's an all-aluminum engine, not a big cast iron block. All-aluminum engine, which keeps the weight off the front end, which is what's so great about the European cars. You get that weight off the front axle. It gives you close to 50-50 weight distribution. It's got sequential fuel injection. It also has the active fuel management, which when you're going down the freeway and you don't need 360 horsepower, it cuts cylinders out. You could be cruising down the highway just sipping fuel like a 4-banger.
You know what they don't tell you? How much your back sweats when you're racing.
It's sexy, isn't it?
It's a great look, that big old patch of ass sweat on your Dockers when you get out of the car.
Adam, I appreciate it. You always bring a smile to our face and the Speed Channel viewers.
Tommy, it's always a pleasure, and anytime you need me, oh no, we got it. We're loose, we're loose, we're loose. Let me explain something. My face is what's known as the cash register. If anything happens to it, this industry, known as Corolla Industries, comes to a halt. So I have to be very careful.
If you would have wrecked the car there, you would have just said, you know, I'm a celebrity, right? You would have expected, you wouldn't have paid for it, right?
Oh, listen, I would have checked my hair in the mirror and then walked away.
Road and Track's Andy Bornhoff in the California high desert. Next on Test Drive.
Welcome back to Test Drive. I'm on a deserted highway in the deserts north of Los Angeles with our next guest, Road and Track critic Andy Bornhoff. Welcome back.
Good to see you, Tommy.
Don't let it be said we don't take you to some great spots.
Take a look around.
But I've got a cool car and some wide open road. What is the industry buzz on the G8 GT?
Well, one thing that catches my attention, Tommy, is that it's just a handsome design, no cladding, and it's got a lot of interior room that I kind of didn't expect. When you look at the car, it looks like a compact muscle sedan, but in reality, it's a little more spacious than that.
Now, who is Pontiac going after with this car?
Well, obviously they're going after the American muscle car fan, but I think with this car, they're also seeking a more sophisticated buyer, a guy who wants real good suspension tuning, sort of a European feel to the chassis, and with the independent suspension and just overall look of the car, I feel like they've probably succeeded. I really look forward to driving the car and finding out if that's true.
That's enough chit chat. Let's get you in the car.
My very first impression of the G8 is real favorable. It's a solid feeling car. You sit down in it, there's plenty of room for a big guy. You grab the steering wheel, it's got a nice thick rim, and it's adjustable both for reach and for rake. So I like it nice up and high and close toward me, and so I fit very comfortably in the car. And when you shut the door, you really just, it sounds solid, so you can tell it's a well-designed chassis. I like the way the G8 looks. I like the hood scoops. They're real. They feed air to the 6-liter V8 engine, and they're just some nice side detailing. And in this GT model, there's a nice subtle rear wing. Nothing too overboard, just handsome muscular styling. This particular application, it's set well back in the chassis, not completely aft of the front axle line, but it helps create a 50-50 weight distribution, which makes this thing work really well on the track. You know, if you push it really hard, I think its predominant characteristic is understeer, but that's only at a level that, you know, almost nobody would get to on the street. There's a couple areas of the interior. I mean, in general, I think this interior is very well done. It's clear that General Motors has made big efforts in improving their interiors in the last few years, and this car is no exception. But as a guy who's used to driving cars in the United States predominantly, I noticed a couple things that are almost European. Like, for example, the seat back adjuster is not a typical spring lever. It's actually a roller wheel, like you might have found in a Volkswagen GTI. Also, the stereo, for example, is a Blaupunkt. It makes me think of old Porsches, old Mercedes-Benzes. I don't think of a General Motors car or a Pontiac with a Blaupunkt. It works fine, sounds great, it's a little different than we're used to. One thing I have noticed about the G8 is that it's remarkably quiet inside. I was cruising at 85, 90 miles an hour on this open stretch of highway, and I wasn't getting any engine noise. What I was hearing was just a little bit of road noise and just a hint of wind noise. So they've done a real nice job keeping it quiet in here. And under hard acceleration, the V8 makes its presence known audibly, but in steady state cruising, it's pretty quiet.
Well, Andy's going to keep on driving, but don't go away, because there's more test drive and more Pontiac G8 GT in just a moment.
Remember how you felt about cars as a kid? We do. Introducing the first ever Pontiac G8 GT, the most powerful car under 30 grand.
For Pontiac, the G8 GT marks the return to a tradition of true performance muscle. Potent, athletic, and dripping with attitude, it also delivers on Pontiac's promise to return the thrill of driving to the American car market. With 6 liters of V8 power, 361 horses, and a compelling rear-wheel drive, it delivers the kind of performance that rivals even the likes of BMW. But with 4 doors, more interior room than you can shake a stick at, and a price tag that will shock you in a good way, the G8 defies your expectations about the costs of all that performance. And according to Pontiac, the G8 GT is only the beginning. The GT is the first in what will become a line of G8-based vehicles. But that's a story for another test drive. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tommy Kendall. See you next time.
Oh no, we got it. We're loose. We're loose. We're loose.